Welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport.
So, welcome to the FIA Motorsport Games 2019, a crash compilation compiled by Frontrunner Motorsport. Now we have 4 categories to look at. We've got the single-seaters, the touring cars, the GT cars and drifting. But as we see the Romans walking out very slowly onto their podium, the games took place in Rome at the Vallelunga circuit. And it was sadly a very wet weekend, but it only gives us more action to look at. So we'll start with single-seaters, the Formula 4 races. Starting with qualifying, and here is Laszlo Toff starting us off. Nice little slide onto the runoff area. You know, it's not a bad start, but we can do better than that. Here's Al Nuzif of Q8, and honestly, this is what most of the Q80 drivers did all weekend. Too fast into the corner, spinning onto the grass, throwing some of it on the track. He carries on. And here's Bert from Belgium. Same corner, same thing, gets on the curb, too fast, spins it round. Bonus points for the 360, very stylish. He keeps going as well. And here's Cohen of Israel. Sliding off onto the grass at the hairpin. And we will see a lot of action at that corner today. Qualifying came to an end with the red flags out, with Hung of Hong Kong spun out on the track, not moving. As we move on to the qualifying race, here's Al Nuzif of Q8 again. Spins right round. Not a good weekend for him. Even worse for Kataka of Japan, with broken front suspension in the gravel. And there's Al Nuzif again. The Q80 driver seemingly not wanting to be on the track. Now ignore the Japanese and Hungarian drivers in the front. Watch the Russian driver in the background. There he is. Balantsev spinning around at the back. Rejoining the circuit by doing a little bit of grass mowing. Keeping the groundsman very unhappy. Now here's Bert of Belgium again. This time spinning around, hitting the wall. That was the end of his weekend. Quite a nasty one. It was a very quick crash. Takes the front wing off. And speaking of old friends, here's Kataka of Japan again. Getting bounced out this time. Straight off into the gravel. And we'll leave him celebrating on the podium as we move on. So let's move on to touring cars with TCR spec. And we start with Magnus of Belgium. Sliding off in qualifying, just touching the gravel. Manages to get away with it, drives off. Not bad for a first attempt in the touring car class. We watch him carry on, and then off this wall of death hairpin again we see a rogue Volkswagen. And here's Backman of Sweden. Same thing as Magnus, too fast into the corner, slides off. Much deeper into the gravel this time. And here's Al Nuzif of Q8. As I mentioned, Q8 did not have a good weekend. That's rear suspension broken. And here's Lithuanian champion Adam Matvicius. There he is. Off into the gravel, doing well not to get stuck and driving out of it. Now here was probably the battle of the weekend. Coronel and Magnus really going for it. Magnus dives down the inside, just catches the back of Coronel, who spins it out wide. Manages to keep it together, which is great driving from Coronel, the veteran. Loses momentum, but still a good race. But the second race started, well, in fact, before it started, on the formation lap, Felipe of America was in the gravel. Obviously driven into someone and gone off. Pretty embarrassing thing to do, no matter what sport you're in. Now here we are with Kahaya of New Zealand sliding across the track, almost getting a strike. This was 10-pin bowling. A very, very scary accident indeed. Just getting bogged down in the gravel. As you watch it from the outside angle, you can see he just runs wide. His slick tyres on wet grass, cannot stop, just picks up speed. Lucky not to take anybody else out. But the Audi slides off into the gravel. Tries to keep it going, but eventually gets it bogged down. Now here's a Chinese driver, Zhang, running wide at the corner, straight off into the gravel. Almost hitting the wall, but too bogged down to continue. We end touring cars with the Hong Kong driver sliding off, managing to keep it going. But now we move on to drifting. Now I know nothing about drifting, but what I do know is that if you're not supposed to do this, Zanto the Hungarian losing it at the hairpin. But I'm guessing the judges will probably score him 0 for that. Still exciting stuff as he goes out wide. His bulbs in his BMW, same thing, same hairpin. Understeers straight off onto the grass. And again, nil point for France. Gets the back end out again anyway. Exciting stuff drifting, even if you don't really understand it. Here's a Slovakian driver. Slowly in, then sticks his foot on the accelerator, spins it right round. That's not how you do it. And here's the Maltese driver, Pisani. Same thing, into the corner, sticks his right foot down, slides wide, spins it round, takes the cone out with him this time. That again is a no pointer. That hairpin proving tricky for some people. Well, not Menaz of Georgia. He wouldn't even make it that far. Here's the first corner and straight round. Losing control of the BMW. Onto the grass. You get no points if you get 2 tyres off the circuit. Definitely get no points with all 4 off it. Here's Stanescu of Romania next. Far too fast into the corner, losing the back end. Almost hitting the wall this time. The first one to do that. That hairpin was proving tricky for the drifters. Especially Bulbs of France. He comes back, gets the back end out, but the car does not want to turn and he understeers straight off. No points on either one for Bulbs. Nor was there any points for the Slovakian driver this time, spinning before the corner. Manages to get it stopped before it goes on the grass. Another one who will not be making it through to the next round. Now as we move on to the finals of the drifting, don't watch the car in front, watch the Lithuanian car following. Spins it round onto the grass, the Belarusian driver keeps going, but Lithuanian Serba, spot of bother behind him. And here's another curated driver, Ali Maxid. Same thing, chasing the Finnish driver, sliding wide. Can't keep up with him. But here was the crash of the event. Sheriff of Italy versus Fedorov of Russia. The Sheriff just slides wide into him. The Russian tries to correct, ends up hitting the side of the Italian again and goes flying into the gravel. Sheriff continues whilst Fedorov tries to get out. Sheriff would actually go on to make a mistake at the hairpin anyway. 2 wheels on the grass, takes out a cone. Fedorov would be declared the winner for the Italian causing damage, and we'll leave the drifters with the Czech and Ukrainian drivers showing us how to do it. Nice and close together, very stylish. And we move on to GT racing. The interesting thing about the GT racing is there are 3 races this weekend, and we see another Q80 driver getting into bother in the background, spinning off into the barrier. I hope Q8 isn't footing the bill for this event. And here's Paul Lip of Hong Kong, driving his Honda off the road into the gravel. And here's the Italian Roder getting into the back of the German Porsche of Gorig. And we will be seeing a lot of Roder today. But here's the most spectacular crash of the event. Ramos in his Ferrari, spinning it round, losing the back windscreen, going across the circuit. I think that's actually an Audi, losing the rear ring as well. Another one going across the track. And here's our friend Roder again, this time attacking the American Ferriol into the corner, spins the American right round. Roder just keeps going. But not for very long. Here he is again, spinning round onto the runoff area. Lucky there's no gravel out there. This won't be the last we'll see of him. Here's the Australian Groves, just getting a tiny tap from the Chinese car. Nice little pirouette, parks it nicely. Tan from Thailand in the second race. As the weather turned nasty, he was in the gravel. As was Salikov in the Russian Ferrari, he's off. The weather getting out of hand, really. And as you see in front of us, a car going off. It's the Danish driver at the hairpin, Muller. Just managing to get it back in front of this car. Nice bit of rallying from the Danish driver. And here he goes again. Same race. On to the wall of death. Manages to keep it going. Seemingly wanting to spend more time on the dirt. Now if you want to talk about trade wars between China and America, here's another one. The Chinese and the American trading blows. Robert Ferriol being a bit of a target today. And here's Roder again, this time not his fault, taken out by Muller of the Danish team. Spins his tyres up. And the Turkish driver running the Chinese driver out wide, both of them going off the track. That could have been a nasty one. Both of them keep going. And as we go on to the final race of the day, here's Lenz of Switzerland in his Lamborghini. He's gone off and hit the wall. As you see it here, he's just gone in too deep, lost control, slides off. Wet grass offering no traction, no stopping, hits the barrier. He would lose his bonnet. Here's our friend Roder again. This time not his fault, Libera's gone off and taken him out, spinning him round. Libera would have to go over the curbs to get back going again, spinning his Lamborghini, facing the right direction now. So you watch again on board with Roder. Coming down to the corner, you can see the Portuguese and Spanish drivers both running wide. The Spanish driver spins on the curb and comes back and hits Roder. No stopping on the wet grass. Here's the outside view. Two cars running wide. Spanish driver hits a bump, slides the back out and just catches Roder on his way past. And here's Roder again. There he is. In the barrier. Touching the curb, spinning it round. Breaking the onboard camera in the process. I'm sure he'll be invoiced for that. That would be the end of the weekend for Roder. And here's Tan of Malaysia again. Nicely parking his Porsche in the middle of the corner. Almost being hit by the Danish driver. And here's another rogue Porsche. Losing it. Sliding across the wet grass. And into the gravel. Not be getting out there. We end on Verdonk, getting into the back of Gorig, spinning another Porsche out. The Belgian driver keeps going. German trapped in the gravel. And as we watch the Japanese celebrate their victory in the GT class, I'll say goodbye and thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe.